Hello everybody, Malkop here, and welcome back to basically part 2 of this series. We're going to be doing the Dagger this time. And well, I'm going to try to shorten this up and just give you more of my own opinion on it, because you guys can see the stats in game. But before we start, I strive stream every day at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch. I'll leave a link down in the description. Please come check me out sometime if you ever have any questions, or you're just bored, basically. But anyways, let's jump right into it. So, the Dagger. The slashes aren't very good, basically. You can kind of see the damages for yourself. It's fast. It's a fast dagger. But the slashes are kind of shit, right? And the misses, it doesn't cost much to miss or anything like that, but this is more of a stabbing weapon. The slashes should only be used as, like, mix-ups. I really wouldn't use the slashes for much else, unless you're in a chamber, but even then I wouldn't recommend chambering with a huge amount. I would try to just avoid tax as much as you can and use footwork, but don't do that strictly, obviously. That's a bad decision. But anyways, yeah, it's not the greatest slashing weapon. It's going to be more of a stabbing weapon, which I'll show you here in one moment. On to the stabs. The stabs are quite a lot stronger, as you can see. They do quite a bit of damage. You can pretty much stab most people to death except for more heavily armored foes. I mean, obviously it's better than doing absolutely nothing, but it's going to take you about 4 hits to kill somebody who's heavily armored to the chest and about 3 to the head. I would really recommend using this. Its release is a bit shorter than its slash, meaning you could actually drag it less, but you can actually drag it more because the stab's wind-up is, well, it feels longer, and you can kind of fake people out with a stab dragger too, and we'll get into that in some other video, but more or less, stab with this weapon almost alone. You can throw it. Throwing's alright, which I'll show you in a second, but yeah, definitely stick to stabbing with this guy. Now, onto the throwing. As you can see, it does pretty good damage to anybody who doesn't have any armor or light armor. I wouldn't recommend throwing this at somebody who is heavily armored, but if they're really heavily damaged and they're running away and you just, for some reason, aren't fast enough, go ahead and throw it, I guess. But, yeah, don't really throw it too much if you don't have to. It's not really necessary, and I wouldn't recommend just taking the dagger to throw it. You could just take a little bit less armor and some throwing knives or something, but yeah, don't really throw this too much. But if you have to, you can. Alright, jumping into some combat footage here. You're going to see a little bit of the way I use it the first couple of duels. I really don't want this to be too long, so I'm going to be cutting the rest of these videos kind of down, just giving my opinion. But yeah, we're not going to be spending too long on each weapon. I can go in-depth in other videos, but this is just more or less what you might want to know about the weapon and my opinion of it. And, well, as you can see, I don't really slash too much unless I'm chambering. I try to show off kind of what I was talking about. I stab mainly as soon as they're disarmed, and man, you put them right down. And, well, it's a pretty solid sidearm, but I would recommend other sidearms like the cleaver, but it's just my playstyle. If you have more of a stabby playstyle, then go ahead and use it. But I really prefer the cleaver because I like to drag a bit more. It's kind of better for mix-ups. This kind of gets you a bit more predictable. I wouldn't really recommend it too much. As you don't want to fall into an air of predictability, you kind of want to really be as unpredictable as possible while also not falling into an unpredictability chain, because then you kind of end up becoming predictable again. So, more or less, you just kind of, this is a stabby weapon, you just stab and stab feint. Sometimes you slash and sometimes you chamber and chamber feint, but really the main idea is just to stab people, and well, you'll kill them, usually, unless you're fighting somebody who kind of can read you. But yeah, for the rest of the time, I'll just leave you with the rest of this footage, and well, see you in the next episode.